The question that we are going to discuss today is, as a society, how can we handle angst and helplessness against injustice? As you are all aware, this is in light with the recent happenings, where we saw that, especially the females, in the community, they suffer when there is aggression against them. And as a society, we feel angry, we feel frustrated, and we feel helpless, when the system itself starts failing. In such a scenario, when, the in yogic language, you say the adharma, is rising, how, as a society, should we handle it? This is the question. On we see that in Bhagavad Gita also there was a similar kind of a situation. Only thing is, the scenario, the battleground has changed. Like if you look at Bhagavad Gita, how it begins: Dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yuyutsavaha mamakaha pandavaschaiva kim kuruvat Sanjaya. So Dhritarashtra, speaks to Sanjaya, and he says that on this Dharma Kshetra, holy field of Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did Pandava and Kaurava do? So Pandava and Kaurava, they are symbolic of two forces. One is towards the righteousness, which is dharma, and the other is against that, which is adharma. So a fight between dharma and adharma is going on in the battlefield. Where is this battlefield? This battlefield is there around us in the society, where there are both kind of people who have Daivi Sampat, people who have Asuri Sampat. And there is a battleground within our mind as well, where there are, thinking processes which go against the yamas, like a desire to become violent, a desire to, create disturbance. And then there is another thinking process where we do not want to do that or maintain yamas and niyamas. Now, in this kind of a situation, the whole Bhagavad Gita begins. We can correlate that we are also in a kind of a battle, and therefore it makes a lot of sense to see what happens in Bhagavad Gita. Here, after expressing all his anger, frustration, depression, finally, when Krishna keeps listening to Arjuna, Arjuna says that, "Oh Lord Krishna, I am confused about my duty. Dharma sammudha chetaha. I am really confused what I should do, what I should not do. Kaparnya dosho upuhat sabhavaha. And I am, besieged with anxiety and helplessness. Yachreya sya nishchitam bruhitan me. Shishyaste aham shadhi mam tvam prapannam." What Arjuna does? He takes shelter with, to the higher force, and he says that, "Please consider me as your disciple. I surrender to you, and kindly instruct me on what is best for me." So here in Bhagavad Gita, if we put the whole society as Arjuna, which is confused in this battle that is going on, and with that attitude, if we listen to what Krishna told Arjuna, then probably we will be able to get a direction to this question. The Krishna very clearly says in the 4th chapter there, "Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srajamyaham." Whenever, the righteousness decline and unrighteousness increase, O Arjuna, at that time I keep manifesting, or I manifest myself on earth. So here it is important to note that yada yada, whenever that happens, there are two kind of thought processes which happen here, where people think that there will come a time when the Kalki avatar, or Krishna will take a form and come in some time in future, and then the dharma will get established. This is one understanding, but here yada yada means that whenever that happens, it is not that it can, keep on happening and destroying, and then after it reaches, a real peak, that then the God comes. Why I'm saying that is because in another sloka in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself tells, when he reaches his Vishwarupa, that kind of a expansion of consciousness, he says, Vrishinam Vasudevo Asmi. Among the descendant of Vrishni, I am Vasudeva, the Krishna. Pandavanam Dhananjayaha. Among the Pandavas, I am you, Arjuna. I am you only. Munirnamapyams Vyasaha. Among the Munis, the knowers of the knowledge, I am the Ved Vyas, who wrote Mahabharata. Kavina Mushina Kavihi. And then among the great thinkers, I am Shukracharya. So, what does this mean? It means that Krishna is telling that among the Pandavas, I am you. It means that among the group of people, there are certain people through which God starts manifesting. Like, these people have that humbleness to surrender to God, or they have, those kind of capabilities of understanding their dharma, and therefore through those kind of people the divine manifests against the adharma. So Arjuna is asking the question and Krishna is telling that I am you only. It means that to remove adharma, the divine is saying that I manifested myself in the form of Krishna. I also manifest myself in the form of Dhananjaya. I manifested as Vyasa Rishi or as Shukracharya. So it means that among human beings only, the divine starts manifesting itself more and more in proportion to how much the human being allows the divine to manifest or performs sadhanas, in the way that his ego can dissolve and the hidden divine within him can start manifesting himself for the well-being of the society. So therefore, Krishna, is manifesting in the heart of all of us, wants to manifest at all the time in the heart of all of us, provided we allow that, provided we welcome Krishna or that consciousness to manifest through our hearts. So with this kind of a understanding, Krishna says that, oh Arjuna, you have to fight. Also, he says, if you look at your Swadharma also, then also you should not waver from the act of fighting. And he says, Dharma, Dharmyadhi Yuddha Shreyo na anyat Kshatriyasya na vidyate. So what he says is that for a Kshatriya, what is your Dharma? Your Dharma is you are a Kshatriya. You should be courageous. You should be standing against the Adharma. And because you have been made in such a way, therefore, you should not waver and should not decide not to fight. So here one point, which Nandini was saying, that we should stand up, that we should speak up. Krishna wants people to do that. He wants people to fight against the adharma. But he says one more thing, he says that you should fight following your swadharma. So what is my swadharma? What is my swadharma? What is my duty, that has been created into me or given to me, into which is embedded in my genetics. What is that duty that I have to understand? Then Krishna, tells that hato va prapsisi swargam jitva bhokshase muhim tasmat uttishta kaunteya yuddhaya krita nishchayah. If you fight, you will either die in the battlefield, or even if you die, you will go to celestial abodes, you go to swarga. It means that even after death, you gain something positive. And if you remain alive and you beat and you achieve victory, then also you will enjoy the kingdom on earth. It means that you will enjoy the positivity on earth. So both the ways you are benefited. So therefore, you should make a firm resolve that you are going to fight. So fighting is definitely there. Then understanding Swadharma, Krishna further says, Shreyan Swadharmo Vigunaha Paradharman Swanushthitat Swadharme Nidhanam Shreyaha Paradharmo Bhayavaha. It is far better to perform one's own natural prescribed duty as per one's own tendencies, even if it is tinged with faults, than to perform another person's duty, even if you are doing it perfectly. In fact, it is preferable to die in the discharge of one's duty than to follow the path of another. Because if you follow others' dharma, then it leads to fear. Par dharmo bhayavaha. What does this mean? It means that, there are people who are following their swadharma and trying to overcome the injustice. But what happens is that as an individual in society, all of us are unique. And we start following what others are doing, then a chaos is created because we cannot understand the swadharma in the way that person understands. So if one person takes a stand, other person just blindly follows what other person is doing without giving a thought into his own energies, his own tendencies, then he may, become more anxious. That is what Krishna wants to tell. So now understanding the dharma, because Krishna told Arjuna that your dharma is that you are a kshatriya, that you are a warrior. In the same way, while describing swadharmas, Krishna describes four kind of dharmas, or the kind of actions that people can do categorically in society. One is the dharma of a Brahmin. Who is a Brahmin? Shamo, Damastapaha, Shaucham, Kshantirarjavam. Those who have these cognitive capabilities of maintaining tranquility, control over the sense organs, restraint over the mind, patience, purity, austerity, integrity, those who have a liking towards knowledge, wisdom, and scientific knowledge. Vijnanam, Astikyam, they have belief in that. These are intrinsic qualities of a Brahmin. Now, when a Brahmin, you have to, introspect and ask yourself, are you a Brahmin? Then, if a Brahmin is faced with injustice, he should try to fight the injustice using the swadharma of a Brahmin. Has this happened in the past? Yes, it has happened. Who was Mahatma Gandhi? Mahatma Gandhi was a Brahmin. He was a knower of the science, knower of the laws. He was an advocate himself. He had lot of control over himself. He had good knowledge and wisdom within him. And with that, he did satyagraha. So a Brahmana, uses his knowledge to fight against the dharma. We know missile man Dr. Abdul Kalam, who used his knowledge of science and technology actually to create a missile which acted as a deterrent for people to attack India. He was instrumental in when India performed nuclear test. So you have to really understand, the subtle nuances. Sometimes, creating a violent weapon becomes the only possible option to maintain peace. Similarly, we know there are social reformers like Dr. Madan Mohan Malviya came in a time when there were, lot of old traditions which were destructive against women. There was sati parampara where female, had to burn with her husband if the husband dies. Females could not remarry again. Marriages in quite young age. All those things Dr. Madan Mohan Malviya fought against. Now here there is how did he fight? He fought by creating awareness in society. Abdul Kalam created missile and nuclear weapon. Mahatma Gandhi did satyagraha. These were all Brahmanas in their own areas. They started fighting against the adharma. Similarly, when it comes to Kshatriya have that valor, that strength, that fortitude, that forbearance of going through any kind of adversity. They also have skill in weaponry, and they resolve never to retreat from battle. They never give up until they win. So they are very high in determination. And there are, of course, leadership abilities that are there. Now, these are the natural qualities of a Kshatriya. You have to ask yourself, do you have Kshatriya in you? Then your battleground is face to face. A Brahmana, indirectly tries to strengthen the society, very intelligently, he tries to organize the whole structure and overcome the weaknesses, whereas a Kshatriya is in the forefront, standing there right in front of the enemy. And what are the examples of such Kshatriyas fighting against injustice? We see, strategic army formation by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. He started from here, took help from Germany, traveled all along. And that also created pressure in India's independence. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, handful of people were able to stop the Mughals entering toward the south part. Maratha played a very, very important role in protecting southern India. Now here, he was also very strategic, used to fight guerrilla war, used to show patience when it is needed, used to show strength when it is needed. Iron Man, Sardar Patel, or Bhagat Singh, these are the people who had lot of fortitude, and they never gave up on their fight. So this part is also important, but then you have to introspect whether you are a Kshatriya, whether you want to do that. If you are a Brahmana and you are acting like a Kshatriya, it will create more fear and anxiety in you, and you will neither be able to do a good job of a Kshatriya nor of a Brahmana, which is very much required. And then apart from it, there are also Vaishyas who are more into finance, Shudras who love serving people, So agriculture, dairy farming, commerce are the natural properties of Vaishyas. Now these Vaishyas have, in the current scenario, have become very powerful, because economy is playing a very, very important role in stability of a country, stability of a zone, of an area in the world. And then these Shudras are the people who actually serve those who are suffering, and also these Shudras are the people who actually form the pillar of the society, where, the mother serves the children, and while serving and nourishing, they also impart them the samskaras or the knowledge. So we see, in economic growth, Ratan Tata played a very important role in giving that economical stability. Then green revolution that farmers brought in the area of Punjab, Haryana, completely made India independent. India did not have to borrow food from other countries after that. Baba Amte, served the animals, protected the animals, leprosy patients. Mother Teresa served the children. Ahilyabai Holkar, a housewife of King of Indore, when the king died, she took up the reins and became the queen. And you see the story of her righteousness, where when her son was against the dharma, she ordered killing of her own son. So here, what I feel is that every housewife who is there, every person who is there, is either a Brahmana or a Kshatriya or a Vaishya. Financially, you can contribute, you can fund the organization which are, helping the victims of such events, which are, providing food and nourishment to people who are fighting. And in the same way, the housewives, they can begin this battle right there from their home. How does that happen? So this brings me to this beautiful story from Ramayana, where Rama was against the adharma of Ravana. Ravana was the mightiest king of the world at that time. Rama was roaming in forest with his brother. He didn't have any army. He had nobody. But you see, because his intention was right, how the whole nature came to help Rama. Animals came, monkeys came to help him. Bear came, And while he was making the bridge, all these people were helping him by, making the bridge. And there comes a very small squirrel, which also starts picking very small stone and putting onto the bridge. So here we do not say that small stone that the squirrel has put would have contributed anything significant in formation of the bridge, but the intention matters. So it is here we may think that, okay, these are the big problems, only the political leadership has to solve it. Big people govern the country, big people are running this whole world, there are big lobbies which are doing it. As an individual, what can we do? So here, we should draw inspiration from this squirrel, which means that you should understand overall the flow of dharma. And then what you can do as a society, me as an individual, I have my own area of influence, my own sphere of work. Like if I am a mother, nobody listens to me, but at least my son will listen to me. Can I teach my son? Can I teach my brother? Can I teach my husband? Can I teach people around me that woman is not an object? Can I start imparting this samskara vehemently, very strongly into people who I talk to? Can I be intolerant to any such behavior against women within my own sphere, within my own family? So it is from here that we start putting small stones, and all the frustration that is generated within us has to be channelized towards the construction of the dharma, and it is only then that we will feel peace of mind. I am not opposing doing strikes, or making people do thing by force, but everybody does not have to do that. What we can do is following our own swadharma, what we can do in our own area. Like we as a researcher would like to do more research on how yoga can help society, how yoga can, bring harmony, peace in society. This yoga session that we do, that you all attend, is also a part of, fight, because we see, we should not forget, this statement that Mahatma Gandhi also emphasized, that we have to hate the sin and not the sinner. It is a precept which easily, people understand, but it is very, very rarely practiced. And that is why the poison of hatred spreads in the world. Our fight is against the sin. Our fight is against the thought that women is an object, or a similar kind of thought. That thought has to be killed from its root. It has to be removed from its roots. And if we all understand whom we are fighting against, then all of us can unite. And in our own swadharma, we can fight and support, people who are, manifesting divinity more. And in our own way, we start manifesting our own divinity. We have role models in our own dharma also. We can listen to them. And this is the way, that I feel that, we should be channelizing our energies. Therefore, Krishna in Bhagavad Gita finally says that you have to fight, but at the same time, you should remember me as well. In fact, Mahatma Gandhi, why he became such a great leader, giving independence to us, that on one side, he never gave up. He was always on the forefront, he was fighting, but on the other side, we also see that Mahatma Gandhi never gave up chanting of the name Rama. In fact, even when he died, the last words that he had in his mouth was, Hey Ram. So, Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Ma Manusmara Yuddhacha. Krishna is telling at all times, you should be fighting and also taking my name. Why? Why the name is required? Because while fighting, it is very easy to lose the insight and start fighting in the wrong direction. This Nama, remembering the name of the God, connecting to the divine at all times, keeps us on the right direction in the war. So finally, my dear friends, I would like to show this beautiful Abhanga, or the poetry of this Saint Tukaram, a very famous saint of Maharashtra. I really love this poetry that he says, Ratrandina amha yuddha cha prasanga antarbahya jag animana. We are in the battlefield day and night, always. And where is this battle happening? Antarbahya jag animana. Within us and outside us. Within us it is there, within our own mind, and outside it is against the people who are, trying to pull us away from our path of dharma. In this battle, we have to take measures for the injuries every now and then. There is an injury that happens to the mind, that happens where people block our ways, but we have to do this action of overcoming this battle moment to moment from our life, in the day, in the night. And then Tuka says, Tuka mane tuja namachiya bale avgiyanche kale kele tond. It means that Tuka says that, oh God, oh Panduranga, I have faced these attacks and defeated these enemies only by the power of your name. So therefore, my dear friends, what I feel is that in such scenarios, all of us should understand our sphere, our Swadharma, understand who is the enemy, and start directing our enemy towards the very root of this evil, which is nothing but a thought. So battle against that, battle against the sin and not the sinner. We should move towards that, but at the same time, we should keep taking the name of the divine and keep praying that the divine may guide us in the right direction. This is what I wanted to share with all of you. Thank you very much. Now, if people or students have anything to share or say, they can say that.
Sir, I wanted to add on to this.
Yes.
Like how we want to manifest the divinity in us, we also should make sure that the other side doesn't manifest in us. So, or what has happened there might also be looked as a manifestation of all the suppression that is within the population. Even the evil side also can get manifested.
That is
so
why.
if we look at the deeper side, only we are coming in general, strike or anything happens only when incident, only when evil has come out. So like how women will be educated about menstrual cycles, or their sex education is given for women separately, men should also be taught about while they are growing up. See, this will be the consequences. You will be having such urges when you come into this age. So as long as in a family, everyone can sit together and educate each other about sex education, this might be the root cause and might solve the issue. Not let
Yes.
that
So
happen.
you are a Brahmana, you are thinking in a Brahmana way, you have understood a cause, and now you have a direction through which you can vent out your frustration. So very beautiful, very beautiful. And not to err, not to do the mistake, in fighting this battle, not to cause any destruction by destroying dharma. That is where the name of God, surrendering to the higher force, simultaneously, parallelly becomes very important. I request Preeti ji to share her views.
Thank you, sir. That was a very wonderful session and it was very helpful for me personally. I have just one simple query. If we see somebody doing adharma, should we name them? I know that, you said don't hate the sinner, but sometimes what happens if we don't hate, I mean, I don't bring that such a strong emotion into the picture. Should we name the one who's doing the sin or just keep quiet?
By naming, what do you mean? Like in media, they show the person's name, face, and all that. You mean that? Naming
I
means what?
don't mean even that. I mean, I don't mean that go public totally. But within your own, like you say, sphere of influence,
Hmm.
should we expose
Okay, okay.
or should we keep quiet?
No, there is no keeping quiet, but there is no, open exposure also. see, the law is generally what we should do is whenever anything positivity happens, that is what Patanjali says in Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upekshanam, Punya, Punyanam. Patanjali says when there is Punya, you do Mudita. Mudita means when somebody does any good, call the whole family, call the whole society. In your hospital, anybody has done good, call all the staff and clap for him, praise him, award him. So when there is Punya, you should do Mudita. You should not be miser in praising a person. You should be, open hearted and big hearted while doing that. Whenever there is any apunya, if there is something wrong that is happening, and you have come to know that, then the upeksha means that you need not call everybody for that, but you have to confront the person. You have to sit in front of him. You have to tell him that I have come to know about it, and all the things that you want to convey, you want to warn, you want to show your disappointment, you want to say that you did not expect that from such a person. That has to be done secretly on one-on-one basis, and you have to convey that, and you have to tell the person that you know it and he has to stop this. Okay, but this should not become public, because when it becomes open, it creates a kind of a you can say a disharmony in the whole structure that is there in the family, and the way with maturity that we deal, it is not necessary that others will also deal it with the same maturity, and this can make the person more destructive also. So in my life, what I have done is that whenever there is any positive, I praise openly, and in WhatsApp groups also, I really do that. Whereas when there is anything wrong that I see, then I talk to the person. And of course, when you talk to the person, you have to see whether he listens. Then there is sam, dam, dand, bhed, all those kind of ways are there in dealing with it. If the person doesn't listen, and it is one of the punishment that that can deter a person doing this, then you can threaten him that if you don't do it, then it will go to everybody, if that matters for that person. But it need not be the first thing that we should be doing.
Thank you, sir. That's really helpful. I got late for the yoga class today. I must share this with you right now, because as I finished my walk, I had kept 5 minutes to come and switch on my mobile, and I saw one lady on the scooter. One hand was on the scooter, and the other was on the leash of her dog.
Oh,
So she was giving a walk to her dog while she
unscooter.
was riding the scooter. I saw her taking one round. I thought, okay, maybe just like that she's doing. And then she again came in front of me. And I just couldn't help myself in telling her, Madam, this is dangerous for you, for the dog, and for other people walking on the road. But she took it in a very negative manner. She said, I don't care what you feel. I'm going to do whatever I want. I
Hmm.
was a little disturbed, but
Hmm.
then I said, it's okay. I'm up. So
You did a good thing.
that's my house. So I just kind of was thinking that,
You
what
did a good
else can we do?
You
Thank
did
you.
a good
Thank you,
thing
sir.
because you fought. You fought the battle. You did a good thing. You did not,
Yes.
you just directly spoke to the person. You conveyed whatever you wanted to convey. And now, it is, this instance shows very clearly, that your intention was towards dharma. The person that reacted, it happens in battle, when you throw an arrow or when you do something, the opposition also does that. But then forbearance is the quality of the Kshatriya. So you did a very good thing, Preeti ji. I
Thank you,
want to
sir. Thank
congratulate
you.
you. I appreciate
Thank
that.
you. Thank you.
So it doesn't matter. Don't take such people's comment, into to your heart. You did your job, and for that you should congratulate yourself, and you should take the name of God and feel peaceful. Yes.
Doctor, can I just share some thoughts?
Yes, Annie. Yes, please.
Doctor, thank you so much for bringing so much context to the kind of work I've been doing. I work in the legal area and I work in the employment area as well. And I've also been working towards social change for a long time in my life. And and how I measure changes and success is in the little things that we do. It's as you said about the squirrel, it is the small steps that we take. The small steps is the one which makes changes in the bigger picture. And of course, in doing this, it takes a lot of endurance, resilience. Um, and I'm just happy in a way that you have provided context to what I am actually doing, because I do it under social change teachings. But today you've told me like who's a Brahma and what they are doing and what a Satriya does. And so it has given me a very good understanding, because currently I feel a bit very tired mentally and physically. And I also understand that I cannot change the world, but I can change the world of one person.
Beautiful.
And yeah, so thank you so much, because as I am actually a bit tired now doing this work, I'm also given the courage to say surrender to God in
Yes.
a way that take courage from God's hands and to keep doing what I am doing. And I really, really want to thank you and everybody in this platform in helping me to understand where I am going from here. Thank you.
Thank you, Annie.
Mhm.
Swakarmanam tam abhyarcha. This is following your Swadharma. Keep remembering the divine who has created us, and you will never fail. You will never fail. Hmm? Whether in this life we win the battle or not, Krishna says that it will always be appreciated. It is your such kind of karma that you are doing, they are always counted. So please don't feel tired and keep doing it.
Thanks, doctor. Thank you so much.
Professor Bonnet is a psychiatrist from Israel. He is with us for some time here in our department. Sir, would you like to share your views? Anything that you want to share?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, please. Yes, please, sir.
In the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita,
Yeah.
Arjuna has hesitations, or maybe you can say is afraid to do his duty.
Yes.
Now, if you look upon this as something internal between him and himself, not outside, how would you understand it? How would you explain it? What is he afraid of? What is he afraid of?
Yeah, Bone sir, this happens with us all the time. Like what Dr. Preeti just said, we see injustice happening around us and we become confused, what is the way that we should respond to it? Sometimes we feel that, to maintain peace, it is better to remain quiet. So we develop our own notion or confusions in deciding what is right, what is wrong in a particular scenario. So that is what is going on within him. He's not able to understand whether he should become a sannyasin by leaving the whole battle and then going away from it, or he should fight and kill his own kith and kin, because what he's seeing is people around. He's not able to get an insight of the underlying current of the dharma. And that clarity is what Krishna gives him. So the battle that is going on within him is that he has lost the insight of dharma.
But what he says that he thinks that this will cause destruction because he's going to kill his very close kin, his very close family.
Yes.
So if you try to understand this, when I think of this, say it sounds as if a person may not be willing to give up some of the parts within himself, which he will have a hard time doing without. Does this make any sense, or?
I understood. So what is your question like?
That sometimes a person finds it very hard to give up parts in himself.
Yes.
May not be just, may not be correct, but he feels that they are very much a part of himself. And if he kills them, he doesn't know who he will be. He doesn't know what will happen.
Yes. Yes, that is very much true. And it is here that Krishna tells him that, oh Arjuna, I know it is very, very difficult for you. And you, after killing them, Arjuna himself tells that after killing them, I also don't want to live without them. But ultimately, that is understood as a kind of a moha, where, which is because the people that are standing against Arjuna, they are standing against the dharma. So Krishna gives him an insight when his Vishwarupa, he shows that those people have already died because of their karma against the dharma. You are just becoming an instrument. If you allow the divinity to manifest, it will manifest through you. If you don't do it, do not think that these people are not going to die. Some other person will manifest that divinity, and anyway these people are going to get killed. In fact, in 11th chapter, when he shows his Vishwarupa in his mouth, those people who were there in the battlefield were already shown dead, being crushed between the teeth of the kala, the time. So the message here is that dharma is much more subtle than my likes and dislikes, and dharma always prevails. So it is better to take the shelter of the higher force and then follow the path of dharma. And here the support comes when you really have that wholehearted prayer that you should get an insight on what you are doing and why you are doing. And that is how Krishna was able to convince Arjuna to do that. Many people actually, especially from the West, they don't agree with this. They say that probably, war is not a good idea. War should have been avoided. In fact, it appears to them that Arjuna was correct, telling that he did not want to fight and did not want to cause any destruction. This was a discussion that was happening with a Brazilian professor of psychiatry. Then I gave him an example. In Brazil, what has happened is that there were indigenous tribes, and they were, then the Portuguese came up and then they destroyed all the indigenous tribes there. And then there are only few, we can say, areas in the jungle, in the Amazon forest, where these tribes still stay. There are very few areas now. There are certain islands where they stay. Now, I asked him a question. What if, people who were invaders now start invading into these islands also? Do you think that these indigenous tribes should maintain peace and surrender to them, or they should pick up weapon and fight against them? Then he said that they should pick up weapon and fight against them. So it is the same way that, the adharma became so prominent everywhere in the world that only a handful of people were holding the fort of dharma. Now, if they also have to be invaded and killed, then the whole dharma will be gone. So they had to fight. There is no other way out. So in the same way, Krishna wanted them to take up the weapon, because the enemy was ready to fight and anyway was planning to kill them or destroy the thing in various other ways. So therefore, sometimes to maintain lasting peace, violence remains as the only solution. Thank you, Professor Bonne. I hope it really, I was able to answer your question. I don't know. Preeti ji, would you like to comment anything?
Yes, sir. So I go back to my question, but like you said, do it nicely, do one-on-one. But sometimes if one-on-one does not work, so we may have to resort to the Mahabharata. That's
Yes,
what I wanted to say.
yes. If that remains the only option. See, you have to see
sometimes.
that
Yes.
actually went. Krishna actually went. He went as a diplomat. He tried all the options to avoid the battle. But then finally it became inevitable. Then you have to fight wholeheartedly.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Namaste, all of you. Thank you. I end the meeting now.
Thank you very much, sir. Namaste, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.